Ukraine's hopes of quickly joining the EU are being rebuffed, ahead of a historic meeting in Kyiv. An EU-Ukraine summit takes place on Friday, and top officials have begun arriving in the Ukrainian capital. Ahead of the meeting, Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said Ukraine had set what he called an «ambitious goal» of joining the EU in 2 years. But a group of member states have warned it should be made clear to Kyiv that this will not be possible. Last June Ukraine gained EU candidacy status at record speed, in what President Volodymyr Zelensky said was a unique and historic moment. While it is a first step to membership, the process typically takes many years and some countries are currently languishing in the queue. Mr. Zelensky said ahead of the summit that it would be a week of European integration, and Kyiv was expecting decisions from its EU partners in line with progress achieved despite the full-scale war with Russia. However, few within Brussels see a 2-year goal as a realistic aim, with concerns that the buoyant messaging from some senior figures within the EU could lead to disillusionment down the line. "That's not what Ukraine needs," said one EU diplomat. Another spoke of pressure, coming from countries such as Poland, to speed up the process. The slightest deviation from a more line is criticized as being on the wrong side of the war. Anything that smacks of criticism of Ukraine is almost considered as heresy or collaboration with the Russians. A draft EU statement, to be released after the summit, reiterates a pledge that Ukraine's future lies within the EU and acknowledges considerable efforts made in recent months towards meeting objectives underpinning its candidate status and carrying out reforms. But sources have told the BBC that part of the statement has been changed because it was too forward-leaning. France, Germany, Italy and the Benelux nations are all said to have warned against striking an overly optimistic tone. Would-be EU members are required to align with a large body or rules, laws and standards. Ukraine's efforts at reform are being widely praised, but there has been, as yet, no public EU assessment of progress. A fresh wave of anti-corruption raids was carried out on Wednesday ahead of the summit, and officials released images of a raid on the house of one of the country's richest men, Ihor Kolomoisky.